that I really do want to get to, because when you were talking, Lisa, I realized that I am definitely guilty of doing that thing where I've taken a bunch of blogs, put it together, called it an ebook, promoted it to developers, and then actually, and then I saw a thread on Twitter saying, why'd you do that? Just the blogs would have been just fine. But I mean, we as product marketers, or even, for lead gen, are so obsessed with getting that email address, but we forget the core is to educate, help developers to use the product and then build trust. And I know you already touched on community building, which I know is a great thing to do, and a strategy that would help. But yeah, let's get into what worked, when you have been working with developers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just to follow up on your interesting thought, we as product marketing people, we are very data-driven, result-driven, because we need to achieve those, let's say, user engagement, like product adoption, which should have amount of marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads, and eventually revenue for the company, because the reason of what we are doing.
Yeah.
But we are not users of our product. And it's super important to understand with developers. It's super important to create a huge user empathy, to put yourself in the user's shoes, to see life from their perspective, and to understand how they think, how they work. So we will be able to detach ourselves from our goals and numbers and tactics. I'll talk about 3 campaigns, which was very successful for us.
Okay.
Only 3 because we have limited time. First one will be about paid marketing, because there is a bias that paid marketing doesn't work. Second one will be about open source projects, because that's something very important personally for me. And the last one is about content, because content is something we use every time. So talking about paid marketing, we worked a lot with Twitter, and our campaign had amazing ROI. Twitter is very popular among iOS developers. There you can find all opinion leaders who share iOS-related content, code tips, code snippets. They share job postings that they are looking for a job, they are hiring someone, they sharing experience of blogs they didn't like, marketing they hated. So it's a perfect place for them to share. We maintain an active company Twitter for Flawless, and we had social strategy which covered mix of iOS-related content, engaging polls, questionnaires, and we had a showcase session where we share what our community built, just to giving them chance promote their tools. And we saw a great organic traffic from Twitter. It was organic, it was free, and we wanted to multiply on that. So we very often run Twitter ads, campaigns, and all of them were about our feature releases, cool functionality, technical details, and use cases. So it was very practical, very technical, useful, and it gave us a really very, very good leads. And we got very positive social reaction. It was not seen as a paid marketing, because it was seen as, wow, cool, I follow this account, I know them, they did a new feature release, I will try it right now. It's free trial, perfect, I will go do it right now. Twitter ads worked perfect for us.
Okay.
But as I mentioned, we had a good social strategy around it. And another example which worked great for us and which worked great for Abstract as well, it was open source projects. Open source movement is something very, very important for developers. I use GitHub very often. I host most of my information there. So it's a comfortable tool to share not only code and cooperate on code, but also to work with the content. So while we did our user research for Flawless app, we figured out that most of the developers, they're building something on the side, some script, some macOS tool, some open source project, and they want to promote it, but they don't know how. And that question came over and over on our user interviews. At the end, okay, thanks for a great interview. By the way, how would I get users for my new macOS app? And because we wanted to give back, we always reply how to do that. And after maybe like 11 or 12 same question about how can I do something, we decided to create a side project, host it on GitHub. And this was library of useful tools, tactics, and articles on how developers can do marketing. It called Marketing for Engineers. It listed maybe like 100 useful resources. We promoted it and it went viral. It went crazily popular. It didn't have any pop-up banners or whatever, but it said at the end that, by the way, if you want to release your product faster, with a good quality, feel free to try Flawless app. It was tiny. It was not super. It was not on the beginning of the page, but because we were trending on GitHub and GitHub was organically promoting us, we got a huge amount of traffic and with a very decent conversion. Even if GitHub is like a pretty general platform for developers, we had decent conversion and we had a lot of users from the campaign. We multiplied on this idea and we did another content project on GitHub called Awesome Design Tools. It came from user research as well. When we were working on one of our products, we figured out that developers and designers as well, they're curious to try new products, which is advantage and disadvantage. So they were like, oh, it's a new cool tool, let's give it a try. Or what type of tool for making design are you using? What type of tool are you using for prototyping? What type of tools are you using for making animation? So they always ask those questions. So we gathered more than 2,000 design tooling in the space. It's the biggest collection of design tool over the web. And we put it on GitHub, with very clear structure. This is a tool to find icons. This is a tool to run research. This is a tool to do logo. It's a tool to do prototyping, animations, super structural, answering an equation, how to find specific tool. It was trending for 1.5 months on GitHub. It has more than like 20,000 stars, which means 20,000 people put it in favorite on GitHub.
Yeah.
It gave a crazy amount of traffic. And when you Google like design tooling, it's always pop up on the top. And it's under our brand name. It has banners promoting our design tool and then abstract design tool for the designer. So it was a perfect lead generation tool in a very organic, nice place with a very organic and nice way to promote it and very good content. And it was not even seen as like promotion. It was seen as, wow, it's useful for me to do marketing. Wow, it's useful for me to work with design tooling. So that worked perfect for us. Nice. And open source can be used not only for content, but for showcasing how your product is work. So developers can go play with it itself. For example, Abstract SDK eventually was hosted on GitHub as an open source, so everyone can go play with it without email registration, banners, whatever. So you can put your product there as well.
Yeah.
And the last tactics I would love to talk is content. We as a product marketers, we love using content at every stage of user journey. It's to drive awareness, engagement, adoption among target users. But content for developer audience is different. I mean, it's really different comparing to marketing content, for example. It's different in terms of the structure and the format. Developers love everything structural in a big portion of the text, while marketing content is a lot of spaces to make it visually easily to read, but that's not how the code works. Code is like chunks, it functions, the same should be text. It's functional in chunks. Also, it's technical depth. If you don't understand the topic, if you don't provide the value, you can just talk about everything and nothing. That type of content doesn't work for developers. Also, amount of banners and call to actions. For us, it's normal that you read interesting article and 50% of the screen is subscribe to our newsletter because the goal is to get emails, But for developer content, it doesn't work. They will close that website just because it's not what they came for. You promised to give them a content, not the 50% of leave your email. That's not what you promised. So it's focused on usefulness, and developer prefer practical and educational things. You won't see much topics like how I woke up at 5 p.m. and became a better professional. You won't see those topics for developers. So, for Flawless, we often created landing pages with a summary of important technical news from the development events. or like videos, everything you need to know about this framework in 5 minutes. For example, Apple is running annual conference called World Web Developer Conference, WWDC, and it's the most important event in the year for iOS developers. And Apple released like dozens of sessions during WWDC. So DubDub is like super important event, and everyone is just want to learn everything new framework. If they have any updates in iOS and macOS, they just want to learn everything, and it's super hard. So what we usually do, we take topics which is the most relevant for our target users and for our product use case, and we create a landing page with summary, with basically a bullet points of everything you need to know about this topic, and links where you read more if you need that. So you don't need to watch a 40-minute session, which is awesome, but it's just 40 minutes and you want to watch 15, 20 sessions like that. But you get everything on one page, or for example, you want to learn more about accessibility in iOS apps, but you don't have time for 2 videos for 40 minutes. So we just squeeze it in 5 minutes, put in key points, and you can implement it right away. Obviously, it's not gated content. It's without any pop-ups and banners, and maybe only one call to action at the end of the landing. And it's all hosted on branded domain. And those type of content, it was giving a ton of traffic for us, like really a lot. And even with one call to action without banners, we had a very good conversion. And when we asked people who came from those type of content or on user interviews, okay, so how did you figure out about Flawless? The answer was, wow, I read 2 or 3 your content pieces. I loved it. And I just felt, I want to give them back. I felt I want to try it because I trust them. It all goes about the trust. Well, that was 3 successful examples with Twitter, with open source, and with content. But I guess you want to know about something not successful.
Yeah, because the thing is, for me, in the past, I've also marketed developers, and in some cases, yes, there are things that worked, and there are things that we thought we should try, but it didn't work. And I do want to know, because, I mean, for you, you know that some of those things worked because there was stuff that you tried out and realized, no, not trying those again. What are those for you?
After 5 years on Flawless and then working on Abstract SDK, I can write a book about what you should not do. But to have it smaller, let's have just 3 examples as well. First one, let's talk about core marketing, about LinkedIn sales, especially about building lead gen, and about event marketing, where you have a speaker slot at the conference. We tried those and had very funny outcomes. Let's start with Quora. Quora is somehow similar to Stack Overflow, especially because at each platform you ask questions. At Stack Overflow, how to solve something about the code. Quora is more general, not the developer specific. But what we figure out is that many our users were posting questions around the needs which our product could solve. We thought, okay, so if I as developers spend time on Quora, if they post questions, maybe we can reply and then try to run LinkedIn.
I've done that.
For those people, it's just like logical. So it looked like a great idea. We scrapped all the relevant questions, and our content marketer crafted very unique, interesting, relevant answers mentioning our product, which we anyway reused later on. Our answers got thousands of views. Like really, people engage, they even answer on our answers, but the link click rate was super low. Like basically no one wanted to click, and we were asking why. We even didn't come to using paid ads on Quora. We just started with testing questions, and people loved the answers. But they didn't click. Why? We figured out that developers came to get answers, not to find the new tool. So it was a different expectation. Nice try, but didn't work for us.
I think I've done the thing where you get someone from the team to respond to something, and then you ask everyone from the team to upvote that response, hoping it'll be discovered. But I guess you're right. Sometimes it just stops there. So you also mentioned LinkedIn.
Yeah,
How did that pan out?
LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn sales is a super common practice. It's when your sales team, let's say SDRs, reach out to the target accounts, to your buyer persona, and they propose some discovery call or demo. It's the heart of outbound sales engine. And we as product marketers, we support that with sales enablement. Like, super cool idea. While working at Flawless, we decided to target iOS developers on LinkedIn and use outbound sales as well. Spoiler, it ended up by deleting my LinkedIn account. So LinkedIn banned me 3 times and then just delete my account. Yeah, end up badly. So while the first step of targeting and identifying users was perfect, we proposed to ask for feedback to the relevant users who had very high acceptance rate to meet our quota. But as soon as we sent that message about product feedback, people really tried the trial. They sent us very long, nice feedback, but then they did not convert from trials to paid users. Those who came from LinkedIn, they just did not convert.
Right.
And we tried to follow up with, hey, let's have a sales demo. Let's figure out how the product can help you, and everything like that. And if for our initial LinkedIn invitation we had a very high response rate, for that second message, it was a complete ignorance. Like, people just do not reply. You might think, okay, iOS developers don't use LinkedIn, but we had high acceptance rate, so they do use it. But for some reasons, second step, like having the demo or follow-up, it didn't work out. The reason is the same as for our previous example. Our call to action and adding to LinkedIn connection was give a feedback approach. But while we asked for feedback, we wanted to close the deal. We wanted to run the demo. So our intentions were not transparent. Our promise was not what actually happened. And we just lost trust super fast. And because we had a very high rate for our quota, we sent a lot of messages, and eventually I have a new LinkedIn account. Fun story. Didn't work. Didn't work.
I think sometimes it may not just be developers. In some cases, even if I would see like an email, sometimes I'm like, yeah, no. You did mention sponsoring events, and that did kind of stood out to me. Yeah, because I know there are some very developer-specific events that, you know, some companies really want to sponsor it. But what was your experience like, you know, trying to get awareness?
Yes, so because we worked a lot with the community building, we are recognized as one of the most recommended tools in the space. We got a lot of awareness. So I was invited, I and my co-founder, we were invited as speakers at many very high-level and popular events. And in a world of product marketers, you know, we're used to a situation when someone is giving talk promoting their product. You know, this happens often in this kind of, okay, for developer events, you could talk about your product, but you should find a unique technical angle to talk about it. Otherwise, firstly, no one will come to your presentation. And using event marketing as a lead generation channel for developers, it's very tricky. It's amazing for hiring. When you have a demo boost, when you sponsor an event, when you give a t-shirt with your company name, when you have someone from engineering team telling how great to work in your company, that's cool, that's perfect. You might run some brain games for developers, perfect. It's cool for growing brand awareness and building relationship with community when your company shows, hey, we're real people, we care about you, want to talk with you. You go network, perfect for brand awareness, like just amazing. And it's also very engaging for the team to talk with users. Developers are very cool people. But it didn't work for lead generation.
Okay.
You know, for the end goal of getting leads, it didn't work. We gave several very product-specific talks covering various aspects of Flawless app technology, and developers, they loved the content. Like, we had a lot of people, like we had a full house of people who came to our presentation all the time. People were tweeting about it, asking questions, sharing photos of slides. They were mentioning follow-up with questions. It was like engaging, fun, excited. And after every talk, my team was like, wow, we nailed it. We did it. Perfect. Such a great event. We will have such a great results. I'm data-driven. I'm result-driven. So after each event, before event, we had KPIs. And after event, I was analyzing our KPIs.
Yeah.
So we had not traffic increase for our website, but we had website on every slide. We had brand name coming every time in a very organic manner, and people tweet about it. We had no new trials and no new revenue. Even when we put a slide, but if you like our tech, you can try it here with extended trial. So we can really track how many people will follow the link, how many people from that link will go to trials and to paid users. So I did a really great flow for that, and it's supposed to be nice, but event marketing just didn't fall right for lead generation. Why? Because you came to give a content. You came to teach developers do cool stuff. You didn't tell that you're coming to get leads. And what they did? They listen to your great content. They love your content. They engage with you. Everything what you promised, they paid you back. They didn't promise that they will come to become your users. And you didn't promise that it will be a demo presentation of your product. So transparency, being honest, keeping trust. Event marketing, even with a product presentation and screen, here is your longer trial, it did not work out for us.
Do you think it would have been different for you, or you would have had a different result if the talk was about maybe technology and not the product?
The talk was about technology, and then the talk was about the product, and then talk
so like
was
a hybrid. Okay.
Yeah, we tried different approaches. We tried very technical talk how the product improve, how our product improve productivity. We tried about how our product works and solve your needs. So we tried different angles, and every time it felt as an engaging content, and developers saw it as engaging content. They didn't saw it as a demo presentation, because it would be totally different amount of people who would come to Flawless app demo with how I simulate your function and how Flawless app works inside it. So just two different topics, two different approaches, and different results.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining today. I love, how candid you were, and you took us through your process and, helped everyone to understand, especially whoever that is marketing developers, how building trust is important, giving content that is really helpful for developers is important. Yes, lead generation and everything, you need that email address, but you need to help developers really understand things, help them. And I think that's where, the success of your product lies as well. So thanks, Lisa, for taking the time. I know you have a busy schedule and everything, but thank you for taking the time and joining the episode today.
Yes, thank you so much. And I wish luck to everyone who's working with developers. Again, it's amazing audience. And if you do it right, you'll get a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of feedback, and a lot of positive emotions. So have fun with developer marketing. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Lisa.
Bye-bye.